Hello everybody, Lila's Gigi here, and after I finished making the bracelet I wanted to come on at the beginning and show you the width and show you the length. This is 2 inches maybe, I guess, maybe a little less depending upon how far out these are, just to let you know how big it is. Now I went 6 pins down from the top, so I want to show you on me, and it's perfect for me because I use the magnetic clasps. Okay, so if you take it 3, you would probably be able to use a C-clip on that. My wrist is about 6.5 inches wide. Well, you know what? Let's just measure it right now. While I'm at it, let's see what I can come up with here. Hard to hold this by yourself. So, yep, 6.5. 6.5 inches around. So, the reason why I came on after I did this was just so you would have an idea how long the bracelet is, and whether you wanted to have a shorter bracelet or a longer bracelet. For me, 6 down was perfect because I use those clasps. So, yeah, that's what hopefully this will help you decide when you're, when you're laying your bands, how far up you want to go. All right, so that's all I have to say about that, and we'll go ahead and get into the bracelet. It's called Las Elite. Hello, Lila's Gigi here, and I am going to show you how to make the Las Elite bracelet designed by the looming artist. She has, let's go back down to her. She has gorgeous designs and they go on forever. So if you get a chance, take a look at her Instagram account and give her a follow and like some of her photos if you would. Okay, so this is a 7-pin bar design, and bottom you go up, up, up. Make sure that your arrows and your open ends of your pegs are facing away from you. Let's see here. My sticky bands, I'm going to use the metallic blue, and I'm going to lay 2 closure bands first, and we'll take them to the left. And I am also beading the sides of this, so I'll go take them to the right. Okay, and then 1 up. And my beaded bands, I just have little seed beads on here. So it will be beaded band, plain band, beaded band, plain band, beaded band all the way up. I'll do the other side with you. Whoa, not with all those, I won't. 1 here, and then 1 more. Okay, so go ahead and do your borders. Now, she stopped 3 from the top, but I believe I'm going to stop 6 from the top. I like mine. I'm not sure how tight this bracelet is, and so I am going to go ahead and stop 6 from the top. And once you get to the top, you will go, let's just pretend this is the top. You go diagonal up, and then diagonal down. Well, I'm not even showing it to you. Try this one more time. Diagonal up, diagonal down to the center, diagonal up, and diagonal down to the center. So I'm going to go ahead and do mine, and make sure you push all of your bands down, and I will meet you back here with the next step. Okay, I am back, and this is what your top of your loom should look like. Diagonal up, diagonal down, diagonal up, and diagonal down. And I stopped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pins from the top. Normally you would stop right here for a full loom. I'll probably, they get fireworks, 4th of July coming up tomorrow. They're practicing tonight evidently. And there go my dogs. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to this. Oh, never a dull moment. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to lay zigzags up the sides. Your first band will, whoa, go flying off the table is where will happen to it. Diagonal to the right, diagonal to the left, diagonal to the right, and diagonal to the left. And we're going to mirror, make sure you push your bands down. We're going to mirror the other side. So from the spin diagonal to the left, diagonal to the right. I'll lay two more. Diagonal to the left, and that looks awful thin, so I'm going to toss that one. And diagonal to the right. So finish that all the way up your end of your loom, and I will be back with you when I have mine. Whoop, sorry, dog went past and knocked my tripod. All right, so do your diagonals all the way to the end of your loom, and I will be right back. I am back, and I finished my diagonals right here, and the diagonals right here, and I pushed all my bands down. Next, I'm going to use the black from the Yin and Yang pack, hoping these colors come out good. I'm going to just take single chains all the way up on pin bar 2. Okay, and make sure you push your bands down. And second pin bar from the right, we're going to do the exact same thing. Straight up, and straight up. So I'm going to go ahead and finish mine. I will be back with you at the top of the loom when I am back, and this is what the top of my loom looks like. I've laid these up here. You might notice in my past tutorials that I had, you know, done a section or a layer and then told you to finish it, pause me, and then, you know, I would do other layers. Well, I found that when I do that, sometimes I miss I miss bands. So I'm going to try this a little bit different this time. Okay, so our next thing we're going to do is, let's see, I'm going to lay, I think I'm going to use glitter gold. And third pin bar, third pin, we're going, you know what, I don't know if I should use that glitter gold. Only reason I say that is because it's not real stretchy. See that? So let's try this one. This is the glitter white. Oh, it's much, much stretchier. We're going to use this one. So, you know, my goodness, I'm not sure now because I wanted to tie this white in the center. So maybe I'll use this in the center and the blue here. I'm going to go back to my blue. That's what I'm going to do. Not exactly what I had in mind, but it's okay. So 1, 2, third pin bar, long diagonal, and then short, and they're sticking together, and then long, out to the left, short to the right, long to the left, and short to the right. Okay, and do that all the way up to the end of your loom. Make sure you're pushing your bands down. Going to go over to the other side, third pin bar from the right. Going to do a long stretch from here to here, and then a short diagonal, long diagonal, short diagonal, and then 2 more. And then I'll leave you to do your own. Long diagonal and short. And I'm going to really have to push my bands down because I haven't pushed any of those down. Okay, so finish that pattern all the way up to the end of your loom, pushing all of your bands down because we're going to do, come back and lay more layers in here. And I think, well, I'll double check. I think there's going to be single bands up here, but I'm not sure. I'll let you know when I come back. So go ahead and finish this pattern all the way up to the end of your loom, and I will be back. I am back, and this is what your loom should look like. The last thing I did was I laid the long diagonal, and then I laid the short diagonal. And you'll notice there isn't anything attached to anywhere with this one, but that's okay because we're going to lay single bands straight up these next. So long diagonal there and short diagonal there. And this is what your loom should look like. Okay, so I am going to go ahead with my black again. So on pin bar 3, first pin straight up, and straight up. Pin bar 5, you're going to lay single band straight up all the way to the end of your loom. So go ahead and lay those bands all the way to the end of your loom, and then I will be back with you when I am finished. And make sure you push your bands down. I am back, and this is what the top of my loom looks like. I pushed my bands down. I did my single bands all the way to the top on 3 and all the way to the top on 5. This is what your loom should look like. Now, color-wise, you know, I actually think I was going to use the gold, but I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it blue, white, and black and use the white sweets for that. Kind of hard to see those. There you go. All right, so middle pin straight up, diagonal from the middle pin down to the left, and diagonal down to the right. Okay. Going to go from this middle pin, we're going to go straight up, diagonal down to the left, and diagonal down to the right. Okay. I'll do that one more time with you, but we're going to do that all the way up to the end of the loom. So straight up, whoops, missing it, straight up, diagonal to the left from that center pin, and diagonal down to the right from that center pin. So finish that all the way up to the end of the loom. When you're finished, we're going to turn it around, and by the time I get back, I will have my cap bands on 3, 4, and 5. So on the other end, 3, 4, and 5 are where your cap bands will be. All right, so finish this pattern up all the way down to the end, and I will be back with you. I am back, and the last thing I did was I laid a band straight up, diagonal to the left, diagonal to the right, and I've gone ahead and put my cap bands on there, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to turn it around. Okay, and once you turn it around, this is what your loom should look like. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into pin bar 3, and this single band, we're going to do a long stretch up to here. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So let me go in here, grab that band, bring it out, and bring it up into the middle. Okay. Going into the third pin bar from the right, taking that top band, bringing it up into the center. Okay, so it's a long stretch. Okay, so now we're going to drop down to the center. We're going to loop everything back to itself, so the short diagonal there goes back to itself. This band right here will go back to itself, like so. And then the last band will go straight up. Okay, so that is your pattern. I'm going to go over here, third pin bar, second pin, grab that top band, just one, Sandy, just one, bring it up, and instead of going here or back to itself, it's going to go a long stretch to the center. Over here, grab this one, a single band straight up, and bring it diagonal in to the center. Down here, short band back to itself. Going again, whoops. Bring that short band diagonal to the right, and then straight up. Okay, so rewind if you have to. Make sure you push your bands down, especially the ones over here. The centers aren't really going to matter so much, but these will definitely, because we're going to be working with these bands next. Okay, so rewind if you have to, but finish that pattern. Go over here, long stretch to the center, down here, long stretch to the center, come down to this pin, to the left, to the right, and straight up. and finish that all the way up to the end of your loom, and I will be back with you. Okay, I am back, and I finished the long stretches here from the single chains that went up, and then I brought this out to the left, out to the right, and then straight up. And this is what your loom should look like. Okay. So now we're going to work these crosses and this band that goes straight up. But first we want to go in and bring the border back to itself. Just 1 and 2. I'm going to stop right there. Wiggly right there, pretty tight. Okay, and go over to the other side here. Grab this one out of the center. Grab this one. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then stop right here. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to work our first band that we're going to use is going to be this long stretch. Okay, so we're going to go in, grab that long stretch, bring it back to itself. Everything is going to go back to itself. Okay, where we drop this off, we're going to go in and take that single band that went straight up and bring it back to itself. Okay, and then we're going to go over where that short stretch was and bring it back to itself. Well, come on. That's what I get for trying to keep my fingers out of the way. All right, so we're going to go to the next long stretch, third pin bar, bring it back to itself. Where we drop that off, we're going to go in and take that single band that goes straight up, bring it back to itself. I'm going to drop down over here and take that short stretch, last band on the pin, and bring it back to itself. I'll do this with you one more time. Using the long stretch to start off with, bringing it down, back to itself. Oh my goodness, I keep hitting the camera. Go in, grab that single band that goes straight up, bring it back to itself, and go into here, last band on that pin, and bring it back to itself, and do that all the way up to the end of the loom. I'm going to go over here and start on the other side. We've already brought our border bands out to here. Starting with this long stretch on the third pin bar from the right, we're going to go in, grab it, bring it back into itself, go into that same pin that we dropped that off on, take that single band, bring it up, take the short stretch, which is right here, and bring it back to itself. Okay, do this with you one more time. Long stretch right in here, third pin bar, we're going to go in, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4 pins up. I'm going to bring it down and back to itself. Going into that same pin that we just dropped that off on, taking that single band that goes straight up, bring it back to itself. We're going to take this short diagonal on that same pin that we just dropped that one off of, going over to the inside and bringing it to the out. Well, I'll go ahead and do this with you one more time, just to be consistent and even on the other side. So the long stretch here, that's the next one that's available. I'm going to go in, grab it, bring it back to itself, go into that same pin, grab that single band that goes straight up, bring it back to itself, reaching over to the other end of that short stretch that you just dropped that off on, and bring it back to itself. Okay, to do that all the way up to the end of the loom, I'm going to do the same thing. And make sure you push your bands down, because I'm not sure if these are going back to themselves or if they're actually going to come out. I'll know that when I take a look at the flipogram. Okay, so finish that pattern all the way up to the end of the loom, and I will be back with you when mine's finished. Okay, I am back, and I finished these to the end of my loom. I brought that long diagonal to itself, the single band up, went over here and brought that short one back to itself. Same thing on this side, this long diagonal, the black here, and then this blue that went across this way. And this is what your loom should look like. Okay, so now what we're going to do, before we do anything, I'm going to make a little noise, so sorry. I didn't call for it in the flipogram, but we're going to be bringing these back to themselves. So I want to put a cap band on this pin. And, oh, did I put 3? Yes. And the last one over here. Okay. Like I said, it didn't say it in the it didn't show it, but I think for me, I think I'd like to have them on there. So, excuse me, the first thing we're going to do is, get my band out of there, is we're going to loop this border band back to itself on both sides. Okay. I guess you don't really need that cap band on there, but it just pulls this, you know, you'll only have a single band when you loop that back up. So I would like to have a cap band. So I'm going to pull this over here. So loop up both of those border bands. Good, sorry. And we're going to go over here, and this diagonal, we're going to just bring it back to it. So I'm going to go in, grab that band, and loop it back to itself. Okay. Go in, grab that band, which should be the last one on there, and bring it back. Go in here, grab this one, bring it back, go in, grab that last one there, and bring it back. So you'll do that all the way up to the end of your, let me do a couple more, because we're also going to do the border bands. Okay, so we're just looping those diagonals back to themselves. Let me go over to the other. So you want to do that all the way to the end of your loom. Let's go over here. I'm going to grab this one. Whoops, I didn't. Yeah, I guess I got in there. I don't know. Let me, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Okay. Come on. Grab that band and bring it back to itself. Go in, last band on that pin, bring it back, grab this one, bring it back, go in and grab this one and bring it back. Okay, I'll do that one more time so that I'm even. Bring it back, grab the last band on that pin and bring it back. Excuse me, so you want to do that all the way up to the end of your loom, both sides. And then what you're going to do is, starting over here on the first one, you're going to just go in and loop your border bands. Oops, sorry for the hands. Oh, right in the way too, huh? Goodness me. Back to itself. Good. Grab the next one, bring it back all the way up to the end of your loom. Go over to this pin right here, reach in, grab that border band, bring it up, grab the next one, and bring it up. So do that all the way to the end of your loom till they meet in the middle, and I will be back with you to take this off. Okay, I am back, and I finished my diagonals to themselves on both sides, and then I brought my border together. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to reach in through all of these pins, and I've already laid my closure bands, so I'm going to grab them and bring them up and out. Yeah, come on. Okay, so I don't like to use the C-clips, so I am using my clip that I love to use. Okay, I'm going to close that off, make sure it's secure. You can use a bobby pin, safety pin, C-clip, whatever you need. Paper clip, I think I said. So as long as it's secure and it's not going anywhere, you should be fine. Okay, and this is what your loom should look like, all looped up. All right, so it is not real tight, a little wiggly, so it might be a little wiggly, a little tight, but that's okay. And I went down 6 pins instead of 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this off. What I suggest with anything that has wide excuse me, that's wide, you want to just take it off very carefully, and I'm loosening the tension on the right hand side. Okay, and then come back and loosen these up, right? So I just don't suggest pulling these kinds of bracelets off of the loom. I know I've seen people take things off, and you know, and it's fine the way that they're done, but this particular one, I wouldn't do any of them. I don't actually pull any of mine straight off. I always take them off like this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish taking mine off, and hopefully that will look good. And I have a charm that I'm going to be putting on the side. So I'm going to take mine off, go ahead and do the same, and then I will be back. I'm going to take this, once I finish this, I'm going to do a little quick segment, and you will have seen it at the front. Okay, so anyway, I will be back as soon as I get this off. I am back, and this is what I pulled off the loom. Very pretty. That's the signature side, and this is the underside. Excuse me. I had you lay cat bands down here. I actually ended up taking them off. They did not affect the bracelet, so I guess there was a reason why they weren't on there. Okay, so this is the bracelet, and I am actually going to take this charm and put it on the bracelet. So pretty. Just want to fancy it up just a little bit. Of course, I'll have to put it in the center, which would be good, right? Okay, so as promised, I'm going to show you the length. Now, I went 6, and for me, this is perfect because I like to use the magnetic clasps on them. If you had used the, taken it to 3, which is what was in the flipogram, you would probably be able to put a C-clip on that. This is so pretty. Look at that. My goodness. I just love it. Now, okay, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to refilm this with the width and put it at the beginning, but I wanted this to be at the end. This is Las Elite by the Looming Artist. You can find her on Instagram as the Looming Artist, and I believe she has some flips on a YouTube channel, which is the Looming Artist also. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up if you'd like to keep it and do it again. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see future tutorials, and I can be found under Lila's GG on Instagram. So thank you so very much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this. I just love it. It's so pretty. I love the colors. I almost put gold in here, but I chose the white instead, and now I'm quite happy that I did. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.